Hey guys, I am live. I'm live from Bakersfield. As you can see, I am by myself today. I put a link in the comments if you want to come on the air and join me live with your comments. As you can tell from the headline, we're going to do a little Hawkeye Bull talk, and then we'll hit the Iowa State wrestling meet, which was a thriller today in Iowa City. I got to watch the whole thing from start to finish, and we may hit a little bit on the women's basketball win at Wisconsin today. So let's just get started. First of all, let me say, first of all, thank you. We got over 200 plus subscribers to this YouTube channel. Could you guys hit that subscribe button and we'll get you more? Um, my ultimate goal is to get to 1,000 or more. We'll get there eventually. But right now we're over 200, so every little bit helps. If you can just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends, and ask them to subscribe as well. Usually I'm with my co-hosts, uh, Jason Hackwell, also known as Coach, and Paul, also known as Jack's Florida Hawkeye. So they aren't with me today. They will be with me later this week when we cover all the Bull transfer portal stuff. We were going to cover that because we want to wait because tomorrow the transfer portal stuff opens up tomorrow. And we want to wait until, incoming and outgoings are all. Thanks, I love animals. Thank you for your help. Anyway, I also want to say we want all the traffic through the portal in and out, and we just want to see who's coming, who's going, and we just kind of want to cover all that at once. And on that also, we'll probably hit the Bull maybe a little more thoroughly than I'm hitting it right now. We'll have more in-depth stuff about Kentucky because, to totally be honest, I wanted to talk about the Bowl in Kentucky, but I forgot to. I committed to going on live here at 4:30 my time, and I did not get my homework done on fully on Kentucky. Okay, so let's open this up on New Year's Eve. I forget what time and what channel, probably ESPN. Kentucky and Iowa play in the Music City Bowl in Nashville. It's the first time Iowa's been there. If you guys remember, right, Kentucky was our bowl opponent last year, and we lost to them in a very close game because we didn't really have any offense last year either. And I think we lost on the final drive. Didn't we get intercepted? I think we got intercepted. Our quarterback, I believe, was Spencer at the time. Got intercepted on the last play that would have helped us win. I believe he got intercepted a couple of times in that game. Okay, so anyway, both teams are 7-5. Nashville, man, I think if I still lived in Iowa, I would take a road trip to Nashville to watch this game, guys, on New Year's Eve. It's not that far, like 11 or 12-hour drive. So I would do it. So yeah. Other than that, from what I know about Kentucky, I went through their scores and their games, and it seemed like the weaker opponents, they handled quite easily. Um, and their other opponents, they handled okay. Like they did beat Missouri. One of their more impressive losses was to number one Georgia. Georgia only scored 16 points on them. They scored 6, so they lost by 10, 16-6. And I thought that was an very impressive loss because you're holding Georgia to 16 points and you got 6 of your own. Dang, if I'd have watched that game, they might have had some opportunities that they could have taken Georgia to task on. So I think, much like Iowa, this is Kentucky. It had a tough schedule. They also had the misfortune of having to play Tennessee on their schedule too. So I don't know if they played LSU or not. I can't remember. I'll have to go back up, but we'll cover that in detail with Paul and Jason when we get an opportunity. But so that's kind of key because can we beat a Kentucky team that beat us last year. When we're already, according to Kirk Ferentz, we're going to be using either Carson May or Joey Labus, in that bowl game as our starting quarterback. Which also makes it kind of interesting is that we may also be playing against Deuce Hogan in that bowl game because their starting quarterback is out as well. Although Deuce I think, is listed as the number 3 quarterback on that team. That just means he's an injury away or a bad play or two from playing in the game. Would that be interesting to have maybe Joey versus Deuce? Having, and I think what makes it more interesting is Deuce knows the playbook. He knows what's going to go on with Iowa, and maybe for this game they elevate him from number 3 to the starting quarterback. Rather than just take him to number 2 for the game. Because he knows enough about Iowa that maybe he can burn Iowa a little bit on some passes. But anyway, with either Carson May or Joey Labus playing the quarterback for this game, it's going to hurt because they're going to be very inexperienced. Neither one has ever thrown a pass or played a down, I think, in any game this year at all in their career. And so what makes it more interesting is I don't see them throwing 20 or 30 passes in a game. What I see from these two guys is more of a game manager. I see us running the ball a lot more, trying to open up holes, throw when we need to, like maybe 15 passes total in a game, that each one might throw. And those would be kind of like safety type passes, but help get a 4th down or a 3rd down call. I just don't see them putting a lot of pressure on these guys. I think they might build a game package around these two guys, see what they're capable of doing, and build a different game package. We might see a little bit of a different offensive game package than we're used to. Of course, we're going into this game without Gavin Williams, who's in the portal. We still have Caleb Johnson and LaShawn Williams, and now we have Patterson. I can't think of his first name. Patterson, who will probably see a lot more playing time as the 3 running backs do. And I honestly think that between the 3 of them, hopefully we can keep the ball grinding against this defense of Kentucky. They don't appear to be an elite defense, but they seem to be a middle of the pack defense. They look like they also, from what I heard, don't rush the quarterback a lot. They have no sacks on the year, I believe. And so it doesn't seem like they rush the quarterback much. So if they try to, I could see them putting that in there, trying to rush the quarterback, trying to shake up a young quarterback like Joey or Carson. And so it's going to be quite interesting, because when you think about this game, by the way, I should tell you guys, Petrus is hurt. He had surgery and he will not be ready for the bowl game. He will not be ready for spring practice if he chooses to come back for his COVID year. He has that eligibility if he wants to. I've been on record saying that he was on record saying he's not coming back, but Kirk Ferentz said that he and Spencer will talk about that later. Of course, Spencer's going to be coming. If he comes back, he's coming back to play the backup role. He's not going to be the starter next year. Unless, of course, this Cade McNamara experiment, getting him out of the transfer portal, is going to be a bust because you know what? He had major knee surgery. He's still got a rehab. He's not going to be ready for spring. Who's going to lead the team in the spring? Okay, because we know one thing: if Spencer comes back, he's not leading the team in the spring because he won't be able to go in the spring. He's going to be going to be several months before he can throw football again. Okay. And so we know, I'm sure that the extent of what Cade McNamara is going to be doing in the spring and outside of the spring is doing a lot of film study, a lot of study of the playbook, trying to learn it. And I'm almost positive that there won't be much there for him to getting used to his fellow teammates until later. Whenever he gets free to go out and maybe like during the summer or late spring, he'll go out and he'll be able to run routes and throw passes to guys and work on on their own with the receivers. Um, so that's just kind of like looking down the road a little bit. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting. We do expect to have, according to Kirk Ferentz, he does expect to have both Laporta and Cooper DeJean back. So that's good. Our number one offensive weapon back and our number one defensive um, weapon back, along with our number one um, return specialist. Okay, he can make a huge difference in a game. Not much is going to get past him in the game when they throw his way. But right now, I wanted to stay away too much from the portal stuff. But as of today, right now, I will say Alex Padilla, Keegan Johnson, Arlen Bruce, Josh Volk, and Gavin Williams are all in the portal. There has been hints that Keegan Johnson may come out of the portal. Now, I'm not going to go into details into a text message I just got a few minutes ago about why he might be coming in the portal and why he was in the portal in the first place, because I just don't know how true it is, but it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense, but it also flies against what Keegan's dad said in an interview to Travis Justice on the Morning Rush podcast, or out of KXNO in Des Moines. So that doesn't that sounds totally opposite of what that is, but you never know. But it's totally opposite of what I'm hearing from my buddy who sent me a text, who got some inside information, and I'm not going to release that right now because he didn't release it publicly. He just released it to me and Jason, and so I'm just going to leave it that way. It's his news to share when he's ready to share it. Okay. Looking at that. So starting tomorrow when the transfer portal opens, we're expecting a lot of news. I believe we're hot on the trail of a running back and a wide receiver, and I believe the wide receiver is very interested in coming to Iowa, from what I hear in the rumor mill. But they can't do anything until after they officially enter the transfer portal, which is tomorrow. So hopefully they enter the transfer portal, and then within a day or two, we hear that they're transferring to Iowa. We're going to need some solid wide receivers, guys. I still hoping that Keegan finds his way back to Iowa out of the transfer portal, and it's now sounding more probable than not probable. But and so that'll give us another threat on there. I also heard, I heard today on another podcast that there's a possibility that Vines might be entering the portal too. So stay tuned tomorrow. Find out. Okay, we'll find out there. All right, so it's going to be a big, big, big week, guys, in the transfer portal. But I just wanted to we'll hit that later more in detail. So let's right now, let's hit the women's basketball talk, because I don't have a lot to say with that. They won over Wisconsin today, 102-71. And I got to tell you, I was watching it on my cell phone while I watched the wrestling on my TV, and my cell phone kept glitching. And so the game was actually over. They had like 5 minutes to go, and Iowa had scored like 84 or 85 points by that time. And they were well ahead of Wisconsin by 20. But all of a sudden, my glitch must have caught up to the end, because all of a sudden the game was over. And so I thought, oh, God, I thought there was like at least 5 minutes left to go in the game. But I guess I didn't see that right, because, on my cell phone, I didn't see the time right. So I go, oh, that's crazy. Okay, so the Iowa women do win 102-71. I didn't get to see the last 5 minutes because of my phone glitching. But Monica Cesanos, she scores her 18 points. So that's nice, because they've been struggling to get her the ball, because I think, they've been double teaming her a lot. And also, too, when she does get the ball and goes up, she doesn't seem to have the nice, smooth stroke into the hoop that she used to have laying. Caitlin scored 22 points. When she only scores 22, I say, because, sometimes she just doesn't, you think 22 is not enough. But she got some help with from Molly Davis, a point guard off the bench who scored 13 points, and McKenna Warnock scored 13 points, and Hannah Stolke, she's a freshman. Guys, she's looking like the real deal. She's getting a lot of playing time. I think she scored 11 points today. I forgot to write that down. Anyway, the women are now 1-0 in the Big Ten and 6-3 overall. So keep watching the women. They are favored to win the Big Ten this year. So that's good. So let's move on to wrestling. A big day at Iowa State wrestling. That's been a huge deal in the state of Iowa for years. Although Iowa now has won 18 in a row. Today, Iowa State had their chance to beat Iowa in the dual meet. Each team had five winners. Um, Five winners. But the difference is that um, three of the wrestlers had had bonus points with major decisions. Spencer Lee makes his debut and wins 16-5, so he gets them off to a 4-0 start. Kobe Seabrick, he wins by a major decision. Man, I'll tell you guys, that's the first time I got to watch him wrestle this year, and I'll tell you what, he was impressive. I just like the way he went about his business. He might be my new favorite Hawk after Spencer Lee leaves. Okay, Nelson Brands made this wasn't his debut back. He made his debut back against Penn the other night. But he's back on the mat at 174 after taking a whole year off, and he had a major decision. That was huge because Iowa only wins 18-15. So if they each got 4 points for winning, take away those 4 points, Iowa loses by 1 if they only make decisions. If they only get a decision, and then they get 3 points. So, 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I'm sorry. That would have been a total of 3 points. So it would have been a tie at 15-15. Trying to figure that one out. Why? Okay. Also, Real Woods makes his debut and wins 4-2 today. So that's good. It was nice to see them both. I wondered out loud before if either one of those two, when those two were going to make their debut, and that doesn't mean that they're going to be in every match after this. I think Tom Brands is saving them for the big meets for right now until they're fully strength. You could see that. You could see Spencer Lee was a little rusty. He started out. He came out really, really strong, but he seemed to slow the pace down as the match got further into it. He just didn't seem to have it. And of course, that's he's taken a full year off of wrestling, and so he's probably not as in shape as he could be. You know what I mean? Winded, stamina. Okay, that'd just be my opinion, but okay. So ISU won their 5 matches that they won. They only won by 4 of them. They won by 2 points or fewer. Okay, guys, I'm sorry, my eye is. I can't. Gonna be. Okay, so they won by 2 points or fewer. They won against Colin Shriver at 133. And here's a disappointment to me. Max Mirren lost at 149. I always just feel like I'm not an expert, and I always feel like that Max Mirren has always underperformed in my book. But he did lose. He's ranked number 6, but he did lose to number 8. Penreal Johnson, who's ranked number 8. So I mean they're close in rankings. So that helps. It doesn't make Max Mirren's loss look near as bad that he lost a close match to a guy ranked 2 spots under him. But I just feel like Max has not lived up to his potential. Abe Assad, he also lost today at 184, 184. He lost to number 5 Marcus Coker, and Abe is number 8. So Abe was not expected to win that match, obviously, because of his ranking. but they're close enough that Abe should have been able to pull something out. And Abe Assad is another one that I just feel like is underperforming in my personal opinion. Now I could be wrong, once some of my favorite Iowa wrestlers watch this playback, they may tell me that I'm off my crazy rocker. Okay, and same with Jacob Warner. Um, Warner. Um, uh, shoot. Yeah. He's number 2, but he lost to number 6, Younger Bastia, 4-3. That's definitely underperforming because he's ranked number 2. He has to do better. I mean, Rick, really. If Iowa has any hope of national championship, those 3 we mentioned, Max Mirren, Abasad, and Jacob Warner, they got to come through for us. They really do. Patrick Kennedy had a huge task today. He had number 3, David Carr, to take on today, and lost to David Carr by a major decision. Here's something crazy though. Why does it feel like David Carr has been at Hawkeye Wrestling forever? I mean, not Hawkeye, but Cyclone Wrestler forever. Am I thinking? Is there another Carr that wrestled for Iowa State that was being there, like a brother or an uncle or a father or something? Because it just seems like Carr, David Carr. This name sounds so familiar, but it sounds like I remember it from back when. So, guys, if you know the answer to that, let me know. Because it just seems like he should have. It just seems like there was another Carr who wrestled who was really good for Iowa State. Back in the day. Okay. I think one of the bright spots today, the game, when it came down to the heavyweight with Iowa having lost 4 matches. Iowa State won 5 at this point after 9 matches, and that was all tied up at 15. So it fell on Tony Caspiano to win, and he did win by a major. Was that a major decision? No, it was only a regular decision. He wins 9-2 over number 16 Sam Schuler of Iowa State, and Tony's number 4, so we're expecting big things out of Tony, and Tony doesn't ever seem to let us down that much. Tony always comes out; he's ready to go, and so it's just a pleasure to watch him wrestle. And usually at heavyweight, you just don't see a lot of activity by these guys. I mean, they don't seem to move a lot, but he does. And so I'm really pleased that our winning streak over Iowa State continues, because honestly, it came darn close to losing it today. Closer than I think anybody who didn't watch the wrestling match today. Probably closer than most of you feel. Uh, so anyhow, I just want to I want to read something right here real quick. I got a text message right now. I just want to look at it real quick. Yeah. Yeah, my buddy was just he heard me talk to you guys about what his friend texted him and stuff, and so that's why he wouldn't come on tonight. He wouldn't come on and tell me. He didn't want to say anything on a public podcast, which is why he only told it privately to us. And so, because we don't know, we don't want to throw things out there that we're not sure of. If we're not sure of something, we're going to say, hey, it's a rumor. It's a rumor. We don't know. This is what we've heard, but we have no basis to know if it's true or not. And so hopefully we haven't thrown anything out there, like he said, throwing things to the wall and making it stick, because we don't. We never have on this show, and I hope we never will. There's a lot of things that we have been told. Um, we each have some people who know a little bit about the inside, all 3 of us, and we have never revealed or talked about um, what has been told to us ever. And so, yeah. So I'm taking some heat, I think, from my teammates there. So, I think this is a good place to end the podcast, guys. I got accomplished what I wanted to today. I wanted to do the bowl talk. I wanted to do the Iowa State wrestling talk, and we got that done. And I snuck in some women's basketball for you guys today. So I really appreciate you guys watching. So like I said, just subscribe to it. Um Subscribe to our channel, and you'll see more of us. You see the three of us, and like I said, we don't ever throw anything out there that we're not sure of. There's so, like I said before, there's so much stuff that had been out there. You know, we have been sponsored by Terry Cincy all football season, and so I just want to throw this out there that she has gone out of her way to sponsor us, and she usually sometimes she'll come on and make comments during our shows and stuff. She's been a good friend to us. She's been a good friend to the show. And I just like you guys, with Christmas coming up, there's a chance for Christmas gifts and stuff, to go out and get some, order some stuff from her. And please tell her that we sent you, that you saw the ad on this show, because that way Terry knows her money is well spent, because she does have to spend a little money to sponsor the show. And so we just want to see her do well. All three of us have been customers of hers, and we will continue to be customers of hers. I recently purchased um, a couple of football warmers. I kept one. I'm using one for a Christmas gift. We, my wife and I, purchased a Christmas tree, so that we could have a little Christmas tree decoration, as well as a nice little scentsy smell in our living room while we sniff, the Christmas smells. Okay. So with that, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Good 30-minute show, and please join the show later, on another day. We'll be back. I don't know what day we'll be back this week. The three of us, but it should be a hot topic show. We'll really focus on the transfer portals, the rumors. We don't really want to. I don't really want to speculate on any coaching decisions yet, because that's not going to happen until after the bowl. If we're going to lose some coaches, also I've been hearing things, and maybe you have too, about certain coaches are going to be out, certain coaches that have been hired, and I'm not saying anything about those at this point, because again, I don't know if there's true. I'm not going to go out here and make this a rumor mill. And I believe the two text messages I got just now while I was on air live confirm that they don't want the show to be that way either. Okay, guys. So let's get out of here. We'll see you sometime later this week, and we should have a lot more news to talk about. Okay, take care. Bye.